All right. Boom, boom. Like here. Bang.
I've been in the space for too long.
Gotta go like this. Share. Okay. Matt's insights. Reply. There you go. Oh, what's good? How we doing, y'all? What is going on? Today's price action might have been gayer than James Charles. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie to you. Today was dumb weird. I don't even know. And now we're getting a random ass move at the end of the day. That's just a straight bean shot higher. Like what? Like what is this? Here, let's see if I can do this at the start of the stream. Behind the back's in. Are you fucking kidding me? First try? First try behind the back. That was tough. When am I gonna do a back testing stream? I don't know. Eventually. If I'm being honest with you, I genuinely don't like doing them. But if this gets, if the last YouTube video that I said that I posted, that had to get, I think, like 400 likes in order for me to do it, and it didn't get it. So I'll do it eventually, when that video gets 400 likes, or the next video that I put out. For sure. But I'm gonna go. I'll do the breakdown once it hits 4 o'clock, and I'll break down price and everything like that. But today was so weird. Today was so weird. Yeah, no, I still use the concepts. I use some of the concepts. I don't use all of them. I don't need them all. There's like a million concepts in QT, but I've been studying it for a while. You think today I'll showcase exactly what I thought today, and you guys will understand exactly what I did and what I've been doing. I'll say this right now. I have been very comfortable lately trading and only monitoring price from a 15-minute chart. That is my strong suit, and I feel a lot more fucking comfortable when I can trade just a 15. I will not go down to like a lower time frame chart that does not match my personality. 15-minute chart and above, or M5, M15, M5 being the lowest, that'll be what I rock with. So that's, as of right now, been working the best for me. I can't believe that we're fucking trading higher right now. Actually, this is just straight up giving me AIDS on the charts just looking at this. All right. 4 o'clock. Okay, cool. So what I saw going into the beginning of the day, let me replay this whole thing. This is actually this is gayer than James Charles that we're actually pushing higher right now. This is unreal. So let's rewind before 9:30. I'm going to remove all these drawings here, all these drawings here. Okay. So what I like to do and what I have been doing since we've had no news this entire week. All I have done was just put the time of me waiting for the 15-minute candle to print after 9:30 open. That's it. All I've been doing is waiting for that. And once that candle prints, I then will know what price would end up doing next. Like, it gives me a sentiment as to, okay, one, am I going to execute before 10 o'clock or am I going to wait for 10 o'clock to open up? So if I look at the chart from a higher time frame perspective before we even get to this 9:30 open, if I rewind price a little bit more and I replay this last hourly candle, look at what has the Dow Jones been doing this entire week. Dow Jones has been inside of Monday's candle range each day this week. That's not good. And Saki, I'm going to get to that. So, what do I want to see happen in order for price to give me a sentiment for the day? I want to see one side of this range get taken out on YM. And the more predominant side to be taken out, if I go to the daily chart, would have been the sell side delivery. Why? Because of the SMT that was built in at all these highs. Now all you need at this point is an entry function. I was way, way, way more picky than I should have been today. And I will tell you exactly why. I can't believe NASDAQ is ripping right now. It's crazy. So if I go to the 15-minute and I scroll back, here we go. Bring us back to this time. NASDAQ is consolidating more so, and ES also consolidating, and the Dow Jones consolidation. Now, next 15-minute candle is what I'm doing. I'm waiting for this to print. Skip that. This is what we look like. What does the Dow Jones do at this time? The Dow sweeps out the high here from Asia. We also do the same thing on the S&P 500. That same corresponding high right there. And then the NASDAQ fails. There was a big SMT like this. Boom. Okay? Now, what was price drawing into, or what did we drop into on NQ today? We dropped into a 4-hour bullish fair value gap. Same thing with the S&P 500. And at the same time, the Dow Jones was cleaning out all of those lows from Monday. So, forever model, what does that look like? Wait, what? My charts aren't moving. How? What the fuck is happening? I was too locked in. My bad. Hold on. Hold on. Why isn't my charts moving? It's moving on. Oh, hold on. Give me one. Oh, I got it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to fix this. Ready? Remove. Boom. 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 Let me fix. And adjust. Boom. We locked in now? Is that better? Is that good? Sorry, I was locked in. We're good now? Seeing everything good? Sweet. All right, cool. Let me go back now and talk about what we were looking at before. I'll replay price again because that was weird. I don't know why that didn't work out. My bad. Okay. So, what I was saying from a daily chart perspective was this. On the Dow Jones, we were trading all between Monday's daily candle range. What I wanted to see happen today was I wanted price to trade down and take out the range low. So I wanted price to take out either the previous daily low or primarily Monday's low. Because what do we have? Back to back to back inside daily candles. Therefore, I want to see one side of the range get taken out. We have had a no news week the entirety of the week. And to top it off, it doesn't even help the fact that the government is still shut down. And we have a bank holiday on Monday, which sucks. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Now, since price at the open, if I go back, created that SMT on that 15-minute time frame, running that high on ES and YM right here. And this was our meltdown on NASDAQ. My focus was on NQ. And I should have, well, I at least wanted to do something along the lines of how yesterday delivered. From how, like, you know how we had just an entirety of a one-sided day on NQ, and we just opened and price just exploded in one side. I was just expecting the same thing today on NASDAQ. Either situation number one, 9:30 open, manipulated, and then price would end up distributing higher, creating like a 15-minute bearish fair value gap like this, and then price could inverse it, and then we could take out the same corresponding Asia highs and then all-time highs, stuff like that. I thought that that could have been the way. Damn, W in the chat for BM Trades. Appreciate that, Brody. I'm going over the trade that I took today and the bias at my framework from what I wanted. But if you guys aren't already subscribed to BM, go to his channel and sub to him. He's one of the very few in the space that actually live trades in front of an audience and shows his executions. And the only real people that you should trust are ones that do that. Like, actually. So, pay attention to his page. Very valuable and good information. Appreciate that, Brody. So what I wanted was that situation. Either one, trading through this inverse fair value gap if we created it, and then trading higher. Or getting above the 9:30 15-minute down close candle and closing above that, making a bullish order block. So next 15-minute candle that comes in does this. We don't create a 15-minute gap. We close like a doji almost. And then price ends up distributing lower on the Dow Jones here. Now, I saw some people taking a 5-minute execution short, and some people in my Discord also took this as well. If I look at the Dow Jones and I compare and contrast the charts, this would have been a high probability trade for me, but I was a little picky in regards to the trade. Now, why? Why was I picky? I think your chart's stuck again. Are they? Chat, my charts aren't stuck, right? They're not stuck, right? I did see some people did catch this, though. So, the sweep of the high, resting here, it was swept by the candle that printed at 9:30. Next 9:35 candle swept that candle high, and then we closed below that specific one. So ideally, you guys know me, and you know that this would have been my order block. And now, like, if that candle, this specific one from 9:35, was the one that swept that high, boom, I would have been in that trade. I would have been short on YM to those lows. But since it was like a back-to-back candle, it was hesitation for me, and I didn't end up pulling the trigger. NASDAQ, or S&P 500. S&P 500 delivered a breaker block from a 15-minute perspective from these series of down up-close candles here that we closed below. And then we ended up tagging here on that next 15-minute candle from 9:45. So I saw that, and that was another means of a short position down to that 4-hour gap. I was still sitting on my hands and waiting for for NQ to deliver something or give me some sort of move. I wanted to see price expand higher today from that 4-hour gap. And obviously, like, we're expanding higher now, unfortunately, at the end of the day. And it is what it is, and it sucks. But you got to accept and adapt from what the market gives you. I took a long position. I'm going to skip through price even more. We ended up bleeding and continuing lower. And this was when I was focusing on longs here. Now, why did I do this? If I go down to the 4-hour time frame and I compare this right here. Boom. So the 6 a.m. 4-hour candle. Moving into the next one. Yes, we had this big drop, but I got stopped out during this 4-hour 10 o'clock candle. I had an SMT with NQ or with ES, because ES came all the way down to this flat body low from Wednesday. Now, while this candle was printing, we have yet to take out that low. Now, if I go down to the 15-minute time frame, scroll back a little bit to that time here, you guys will know exactly what was on my mind. I had an SMT like this marked off. This was my SMT like that. While the Dow Jones swept out all those lows, we had the S&P 500 also closing above that down close candle from 1030. And I wanted to see price get above this down close candle from 1030 here. And that would have been my trigger point for an attempt at a long position. It was later in the day. Like, my executions, they typically will always land between the times of either 9:30 to roughly 10:45, 11 o'clock the latest. Now, I caught a whim on Tuesday, which was a big buffer for me to set like a bit of comfort for the rest of the week. So I had leeway going into this to at least give it a try to see if price was ready to flip here. And at the point of time, I saw that price was able to retrace into discount of this 4-hour candle range. So I measured from this high to this low, and the 4-hour gap that we traded into was discount. And the candle from 1030 also did my piece of criteria by running this short-term low here. So after I got that, after I saw this, I was like, bet, okay, cool. Maybe price is ready to go. So we had a candle closure at 11 o'clock. My idea going into this candle closure was like, boom, I could try this out. Since it's later in the day, I'm going to take it as a reduced risk. I'll put my stop loss at the candle body low like this. I roughly risked about 50 points. It was decently sized. And then I wanted to pretty much target just a static 1 to 2, or at least maybe get to the highs again. So next 15-minute candle obviously looked like this. And then price ended up consolidating. We swept out the low again. I stopped out in 2 candles. Like by 11:30, I was done. We created another SMT here, and then the next 15-minute candle pushed up higher. And then after that, it was more so consolidation for the rest of the day, and price ended up going lower. And now, after that, you can see price dug a little bit deeper, went to the 4-hour gap, and now we're getting some sort of expansion here. Appreciate that, Brody. Much love. Good luck trading tomorrow, bro. But this was a setup that I took live in front of over 500 people. And it's a setup that I would take again if it presented itself. And you guys also know me too. I'm not one to take trades on a lower time frame perspective. I feel a lot more comfortable taking a trade on a 5 or a 15-minute perspective. Why do I like that? Because I just have a lot more clarity and I stay in tune with what the higher time frame is telling me. And I like staying in sync with a, let's say, 4 hour or hourly chart. And price is obviously just in this point retracing in a discount of a range and looking like it would just be impulsing back to an all-time high, because that's exactly what I would expect. All I want to do is trade in regards to higher time frame order flow. Price has an impulse, it has a retracement, has another impulse, and then I expect another retracement. That's literally it. And it's as simple as that, and that's my process. And stuff like this, it doesn't affect me to the point where I'm going to go into the market again and try and recoup back the loss that I took in the same day. I took the loss late in the day, and then after I took that loss live, that was my cap off. I went to the gym, and then I came back, and now I'm talking to you guys. That's it. Came on the charts, did my job, got a little paper cut, but we caught a nice W in the beginning of the week on Tuesday, which was actually very, very clean. I'll go over that one really quick. So, and show you guys like the enhancement and like why 15-minute charts are just so clean and so much nicer. At least it makes me more comfortable trading. So the trade that I took on Tuesday, this was an absolute beauty. The trade that I took on Tuesday, I'll put this in the weekly recap of when I post after tomorrow's trading day. I'll go back and show you guys exactly why this was money. So Tuesday, we had a SMT at the Monday high with the Dow Jones up here, all like this. We had the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 creating this SMT here. And then when I came into the day, I had, let me replay price to like here, at 9:30 open. We had this big fair value gap, or sorry, not big fair value gap. We had this 15-minute fair value gap across all three. We had the open on ES and the Dow Jones and NQ creating an SMT at the 15-minute candle highs, just like this. So I was telling my group, word for word, I was like, all right, guys, we have this 15-minute fair value gap. Once this 15-minute fair value gap flips and we inverse it, I'm ready to take a trade in the opposing direction. This was just a classic B model of a forever model execution because I was shorting the stronger pair here, but there was also a two-stage SMT with an SMT at this external high and also an SMT at this high here, because you could see the Dow Jones made this higher high like that. So if I skip to the next 15-minute candle here, the S&P 500 actually closes off and inverses that gap here. But a majority of my trades are typically on the NASDAQ. So that SMT, the two-stage, is set in right there. The next 15-minute candle, we actually close below. Sorry, not there. We didn't close below there. Here we close below. At this point, at 10:15. Again, another like delayed move. So I didn't really have too much of like a hesitation to take a trade late today because I saw what happened on Tuesday. I was like, if it happened on Tuesday and it was a late move, maybe it could happen late on Thursday. So all I did here was I had a up close candle that was here that ran a short-term high like this, liquidity sweep, and then I had my bearish order block like that. Boom, boom, boom. put my short trigger at that order block, had my stop loss at that candle high. I targeted these relative equal lows down here, and I almost hit a one. It was literally a 3.78 risk to reward. Next 50-minute candle, boom, tagged me in there, just like that. And then all I did was let it ride like that. And I was in and out of the trade in 3 candles. 3 candles. And I was done. So I went into today with the same mindset that maybe this would have been a delayed move on NASDAQ. Because we were trading inside of a 4-hour gap and we had SMT. And I was like, okay, yesterday impulsed. So why don't we continue in regards to bullish order flow and go higher? That was it. That was literally it. Oh, this is always, yeah, these live streams will be posted on my channel, bro. For sure. They always are. They're always reposted and shared on my channel. Just you have to go to the playlist where it's live, where it says live. The trade that the framework of how I've been doing all of my trades is literally waiting for 9:30 open to come into play. Wait for that first 15-minute candle to print, and then I'll be able to know if I am taking a trade before 9:30 or before 10 o'clock, or if I'm taking a trade after 10 o'clock. And that's just how we've had to move with the fact that the government shutdown is still like in play. We have to be very cautious in conditions like this. And I've only taken 2 trades this week. I took a win on Tuesday and I took a loss today. But this win outweighed my loss by 3. That's it. You just got to make sure that in conditions like this, you know when to put down the hammer and when to take your foot off the gas. And today's situation, since it was past that 11 o'clock time, foot was off the gas a little bit. And it is unfortunate because everything ended up playing out proper. But just way later than I expected. And I'm at the gym at the point of this time when this is moving the way that it did. So there's not much that I can do about it besides journal this trade and move on to the next. When I get a higher time frame FVG and SMT, I only take a trade from the 1-minute time frame before confirming. See, I can't do that personally. I don't like 1-minute time frame trades, and I feel like the only way to really take a trade every single day in conditions like this is if you're taking something that's like 5-minute or below. But most likely below a 5-minute time frame. Traders like me that only like doing intraday moves where you're capitalizing on the entirety of the daily range, you have literally one shot. And that one shot that you're going to get, it's either at the open or right after the open. And that was the case on that was the case on the S&P 500 here and the Dow Jones here. Like, you have your 9:45 candle print, and then you have to get into a trade at that next 15-minute candle. And then price will end up delivering. That was today. On Tuesday, it was waiting until after 10 o'clock because price just consolidated from the time of 9:30 up until past 10. And then once we confirmed and we created that SMT like we had here at the highs, it was ready to go. That was it. Yeah, for sure. Time frames like based off your execution is based off of trading style and what fits your personality. I will say that every single day of the week. Whatever fits your personality is how you should stick and ride with. Just because I see other people winning and like taking trades on like lower time frame charts, that doesn't mean that I'm going to come into the next day and I'm going to switch up my entire way of execution just so that I can get a trade off. That puts me at a vulnerable position to then lose my capital. I don't like that. I feel much more comfortable with executing in my way of a means of how I view price. This is stress-free. I am very, very comfortable executing the charts just like this. And I will keep on doing it week in and week out. And my average as of right now is between the range of like 2 to 3 trades a week. That's roughly what I'm at right now. And it's been like that for a minute. But the good thing is I'm still staying afloat. I'm not losing accounts. I'm not losing equity in my accounts. I'm just getting my base hits, and I'm exponentially growing as time goes on. And I'm doing it during, in my opinion, very difficult times of the market. So if you can survive in conditions like this, when price clears up and we don't have this government shutdown anymore, it's going to be a wrap. It'll be much, much easier to trade, because if we just zoom out and we just look at what price has been doing from like a 4-hour perspective, it has just been, since this government shutdown, this is what we've been dealing with. Deep retracement, take out the high, deep retracement, take out the high, deep retracement, potentially taking out the high. And then S&P 500, 4-hour chart since the open of October, barcode. Same thing with the Dow Jones. Honestly, Dow Jones has been all over the place too. Since the opening of October, it's been like a barcode. Drop, deep retracement, drop, deep retracement, drop. That's it. Do you guys have questions on the analysis that I just dropped and everything that I just said? Or are you guys ready to take on tomorrow? Or are you just ready for the weekend? Because personally for me, I'm ready for the weekend. Gold took a big ass hit today. But outside of all my analysis and everything that I just gave out, moving into tomorrow and what we could potentially expect for tomorrow is if price is going to expand higher from this 4-hour bullish fair value gap to then take out all-time highs again. Because I still don't have a bearish bias when price is simply just retracing from a key level. I don't have a bearish bias from this. Until the NASDAQ inverses, I would say like the 4-hour gap resting here, and then price would end up taking out all this low resistance liquidity below, I would assume that NQ tomorrow potentially takes out another all-time high. That's my read. And on top of that, all we did today at this deep retracement was trade down into a daily up close candle here. Traded down to that daily down close candle. Once we did that, that was our bottom out for the day. And then price has just been expanding since. And we displaced on the 30-minute, and we displaced on the hourly. But that's kind of my view and my recap of the day, what I did, and my expectations for tomorrow. And I hope it was valuable to you all. I hope you enjoyed this sort of breakdown. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. I will do a weekly recap tomorrow, and I will record it, and it'll be uploaded on YouTube Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Have notifications on for video posts. It'll probably be uploaded at like 10:45, 11 o'clock on Saturday. We'll see. But take care, everybody. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I hope you have a good trading day tomorrow. Execute carefully, pick your shots carefully, and continue to thrive and bank out. Take care, y'all, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Deuces, everyone.